welcome back to another stream. Today we are doing the Bonanza Summer Stomp Aftermath. So if you haven't watched the previous streams, if you're a little unaware, for an event yesterday called Bonanza, the Summer Stomp. It's my good friend MC Joe Dukins event, and he had a little thing going on in Manchester. He tried to book me for it last year, and sadly the trains were striking. So we went forward and said, look, we'll do something this year, and he'll get me down. And yesterday was the day where he got me down to the Bonanza Summer Stomp. So it was at a place called Zombie Shack in Manchester, which I can only describe it as a little, like almost like a little grassroots venue. It was a really nice place. It really gave me the feel of the Adelphi Club in Hull. It was a real sort of like a grassroots place. It was a dark place. It was definitely a bit more of a low budget place, but it had a real nice feel. It had a real nice vibe to it. And it was just all in all, a venue that I'd never been in before, and it was, it was quite nice to go in there and tick it off the list, because there's so many venues over the UK that are all unique in their own way, and they all have their own styles, and it's great to go into these different clubs and feel these different vibes. And to get into the club, you go up this like round staircase, and you come onto like a little balcony, and it's just really weird but nice. And then like the balcony just sort of looks down on another pub called the Salisbury, and it's almost like you come down this little side street that slopes and goes to a dead end, and there's like there's like a staircase to like the Manchester Oxford train station, which is obviously one of the main stations in Manchester. So it was a really nice venue, and the night itself was an absolutely amazing night. It was nothing but good vibes from when I arrived to when I left, which was right at the end of the event. So I didn't catch the whole event. Due to my train times, I actually missed the event by probably about 40 to 50 minutes. It was the event started at 7. I actually arrived into Manchester at 7:30, and then I just had like sort of like a 20-minute walk to the venue, which was really enjoyable as well, because it gave me a good chance to vibe Manchester. And I've been to Manchester once before, like into the centre, but that was when I auditioned for the Britain's Got Talent. So I didn't really get, was in a little bit of a rush and was trying to find a place, and everything was just a little bit more different back then. Whereas, coming on the train, get off the train, and you're kind of forced to do this walk to the venue, and it sort of makes you sort of weary and look around. Big shout to Space Cowboy. Big shout to Space Cowboy. Have a great night, you as well. And yeah, so I had this sort of walk, and Manchester was just really lively and vibing. Sort of every street you went down, there was somebody like busking, like there was either like singing or playing a saxophone, or like banging on some bongo drums. There was something happening, and all these sort of like restaurants and food places were just, they all seemed like really lively, and there was people sat outside in the like little outdoor seating areas of the restaurants, and then there were, you could see through the windows that there was people sat inside, and sort of every so many minutes there was a tram that went by, and then there was like all the buses and normal buses as well, that was obviously going by. And yeah, it was just a really sort of like different vibe. And what I will say is I've never seen a place so lively in the early hours of the morning as well. So when I came out of the event, obviously the event finished at 4, so by 4 o'clock we're in the time of the year now where it's getting light. And I come out of the venue, and the place, you would just think it was like midday or something, or like like deep into the daytime, because there was people all over the joint, like walking the streets. And there was quite a lot of food places still open as well at that time. And what surprised me, there was a Papa John's, and that was open. Because normally, like when we go to somewhere, like say if we're raving in Doncaster, or even if you go to a night out in Hull and you come out of a nightclub at like 4 in the morning, you're very limited to where you can eat. There's like one kebab shop that I know of on Princess Ave that stays open till like 5 a.m. And then other than that, it's driving to a 24-hour McDonald's. Whereas Manchester, there was quite a few food places that were still open at that time. And it just, to me, it gave me that vibe of like the city that never sleeps. It honestly, 5 in the morning, and you're coming out to a busy city centre, which was just just a crazy thing. There was a 24-hour McDonald's. It was just up the road. It was a real big place as well. Um, and yeah, it was just a vibing city. So anyway, the event itself, we've not come here to talk about the Manchester as a city, but it's all part of the experience, I suppose. But the event itself, like I say, it was full of good vibes. So I was emceeing at this event. I wasn't DJing, although I did take my USB and headphones just in case there was, say a DJ that for whatever reason just couldn't make it, or just sadly didn't turn up, and they needed somebody at the last minute, and I could have said, look, I'll jump on. So I had the stick there prepared, but everyone turned up and did their sets, and everything went smoothly. So I didn't in sense need to use it, but it gave me that opportunity of having some headphones for the train journey as well, which wasn't a bad thing. Being able to put a good mix on while you sat there, while you sat there, sort of passing time on the journey. So myself, I was on at 10 p.m. with DJ Evo, and I was B2B with the MC Darkside. Now I had a little chat with DJ Evo just about 15 minutes before the set, and he gave me a little bit of a this is the kind of set that I'm going to play. And he said I'm going to do a full production set. So he said all the tracks he's going to play are all tracks that he's produced and made, and remixes. And when he said that like really excited me, because as a host and as an MC, there's like nothing more exciting than like hosting a set that with tracks that you've never heard before, because it's kind of like like someone's doing their own unique production sounds. It kind of just gives a little bit of an excitement that you're going to hear sort of like different remixes of tracks that or tracks that you don't even know. So he said I'm going to do this production set. He had a little track list, and he showed me him, and he sort of said, that's a remix of so and so. You remember that track? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And we rolled on. So Dark Side, he actually turned up late. He came about halfway through my set, which was a little bit gutting. But in a way, it was a good thing, because I got to sort of like steal the show by myself. And I gotta just say that DJ Evo, he played an absolutely blinding set. It was absolutely awesome from the start to the finish, and his production is amazing as well. He's got really good production, and the only way I can describe his production in the best way is it's like modern hardcore, but gives you a feel of the old school hardcore as well. So there was a lot of like new school sounds in there, but there was old school sounds as well. So it kind of gave you a little bit of a sort of like a breakbeat happy hardcore vibe, but at the same time it gave you a little bit of a like upfront vibes as well. And all the tracks just were so amazing. There was some real nice like old school stabs and rave breaks, and like old school happy pianos that was coming through the set. There was some really good remixes, and one that I like especially in that set was he's done a remix of Piano Man Blade, and the remix of it is just something else. It sounded so good. And at the time, I remember like being on the mic and I turned around to face him and I fist bumped him and I was pointing like, to say, yeah, I rate this track, and I really did. I rated the track. It was absolutely amazing. It just sounded so good. But then so did the other tracks as well. They all sounded so fresh, but also at the same time like something you've heard before. And it just sort of like sat real comfy with me, and I could get right into it, and it wasn't like the most vocally set either, so I could go in and come in with my bars and do stuff, and it was just a really enjoyable vibe. So Dark Side turned up about halfway through, and we had a little B2B together, and then he left and got some food, and he was supposed to come back, and he never came back. And he was supposed to host a headliner, which is what we're going to come on to now. So obviously, that set takes place, and then there's some drum and bass that goes on. The old school MC Robbie D dominates this drum and bass set, and he actually does as well. And the DJ playing the drum and bass, the mixing was just second to none. It brought a real different vibe as well to the night, and it gave us a little break from the hardcore. And then UFO came on, and UFO was the headliner of the night, and Darkside hadn't come back at this point. So I actually got asked by the promoter and said, will you jump on, because the promoter MCs as well, he said, will you jump on with me and host a headliner? So for me, that was like something that was like truly amazing. That was something that was just like like absolutely like, oh my days, like as if that is actually the case. Like you want me to host a headliner, and this guy was a big part of Raver Baby back in the day. That record label. He was a big part of the hardcore scene in the 2000s, and to think that I actually got to get the chance to host him, was just an absolutely amazing opportunity. So a big respect to Joe Dukins for booking me and giving me that opportunity to giving me that opportunity to host him. He went with a sort of classic UFO Raver Baby, all of his old stuff, and it was just really amazing to hear, and some real good drum and bass sounds in his set as well, and just a really good different vibe in there. And then there was Kayleen Scar. Can't forget my good friend Kayleen Scar, who did a B2B. I forget the other DJ's name, so I do apologise. They played a blinding set as well, and they played like some classics like Darren Styles Come Running, and System F Cry, the Recon remix, and just some classic like HDID tracks from sort of I'd say the 2006 onwards era, where it sort of went like Clubland Extreme Hardcore and stuff like that, which was really good, and really enjoyed that vibe as well. I grabbed the mic for a little bit on it. So I did go on the mic quite a bit actually. I didn't at first when I first arrived. I kept it chilled because I knew there was a long night ahead of me, so I didn't want to like overdo myself at the first hurdle. When I knew like I have an actual official set to host, but the mics just kind of went a little bit like open micy, and just all the MCs just sort of jumped on as and when really, and like I say, Dark Side didn't turn back up, and some people had hosted for a bit and then sort of said, right, I've had enough now, and they'd all come and sort of done their bit, and it was just a real good vibe because there was no real agenda as such to to the MCing side of things, and everyone was just having a laugh, and then everyone was just having a go on the mic, and then we all sort of like took it in turns and went B2B with each other, which was like a really nice vibe as well, really enjoyable, and it was just an enjoyable night. But I've got to say, the set of the night for me it goes to the guy who was on last, and I do apologise again because I have actually forgotten his name. Let me just have a. I've got the poster just here on my bedroom wall. Um, let's have a look. It was. I think it was the elusive exposure, but I might be wrong. But he came on, he did the final set, and he came in with a proper UK hardcore set, just how I like it, a proper slamming UK hardcore set. He played it at about 183, believe it or not. He played it at 183 beats per minute, and he double dropped and he quick mixed the shit out of that set. And his mixing again was second to none. And it was almost like the whole vibe of the night changed, and there was so much power within the set, and it just sounded so hard. It sounded so fast. It sounded so good. And he was on CDs. He actually was using the blank discs and CDs, and he just, like I say, absolutely just dominated it, which was just amazing. And all the mixing was just so quick and so hard and so pounding that it was, it's what I would call, like, if you're doing the last set, it's what I would call a proper power hour, coming in for the power hour and just giving in, like, what, we're not done yet, there's another hour. And then, like that set, when your second to last set was banging, don't get me wrong, but you kind of feel like you're getting a little bit like, I need that pick me up just to get me through to the end. And then he comes in and he slams that, and and it just gets everybody lively again. So really good night, really good vibe. So yeah, so that was the Bonanza, the Summer Stomp. So massive respect to Joe Dukins once again for the booking. The next Bonanza, I sadly can't make it. I already had a booking on that day, but I am going to be doing some more stuff with Bonanza going forward, so keep your eyes peeled. I'll be returning back to Manchester at some point, and I think I'll be joining them at their event in Blackpool as well for some stuff. So keep your eyes peeled. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share. I'm going to literally do one now. Yeah, and we'll see you next time. Yeah, because